Alright, you bunch of turd nuggets, welcome back to Let's Play Infinity Blade. This is part 3 of the series. We're continuing on from where we had just left off. So here we go, getting right into a big beefy battle with this hot cake. Yes, he's very hot and cake-like because he eats lots of cakes, I'm sure. Super attack, so I'm still getting used to doing super attacks and magic because it's actually, you don't want to use them whenever they become available, is what I've found out through playing the game. There's specific moments when you want to, if you can, do a block break like I just did there, do a dodge break, parry them if you can. I find it's the hardest to do a parry break because just doing one parry is usually easy enough, but stringing a few along in a row can be kind of difficult. So that's the one that requires a little more practice. So if you're just looking to straight up give yourself a break, blocking is the easiest for sure, but dodging as well is alright once you get used to the motions of the enemies, and you can kind of after a while predict how they're going to attack. That guy, really not a problem for me because, well, again, this is the first bloodline and I've played through a few bloodlines before I've actually started doing these videos, so I'm a little more experienced. Alright, so level 4, we're really starting to get on a roll. And I still haven't found, I've got my character up to level 45, where I am finally now, not in this video obviously, but I'm up to level 45, and I wasn't exactly sure how to set out my attributes throughout the game. I didn't really have much of an idea of where these points would be wasted. It's pretty similar to, I remember going back and playing Diablo 2. When I used to play that, I would pretty much go even through everything. I'd put the same amount into strength and vitality and dexterity. I'd do them all equally, but after I'd been playing for a few years, I'd get back in and out of the game. You quickly realize that that's very stupid and an amateurish mistake if you actually want to make it far in Diablo. Trying to do hell runs and stuff like that, you have to be very methodical about how you level up your character. So I'm thinking I'll probably regret doing what I did in Infinity Blade. Basically, I did the same thing. I equally distributed all of my stat points because honestly I didn't just not too familiar with how that would play out. And once you get the actual Infinity Blade, you're able to use it. It does 200 damage, so you'll do 200 plus however many stat points you've put into your attack. So I think on my level 45 character I put something like 50, so he does 250 damage, which maybe that's good. I mean, I like doing damage, but maybe that's still not enough because I put just as much into my shield and into magic. So I'm thinking, or I shouldn't say shield, sorry, I should say blocking. Maybe that was a mistake because you can get away with I almost would say no shield because you can dodge attacks and you can parry. So really you don't need the shield if you're good enough, and you can spend those points on your health instead, or your attack or magic. So I'm gonna have to do some more playthroughs and just tweak stats and stuff like that. And hey, if you guys have a good idea, hit me up in the comments because that would be great. I'd like to hear from you, hear your strategies for playing this game. But other than that, leveling your character is pretty straightforward. You want to become a level 45. That's the highest level you can achieve, at least thus far in the game. Until they bring more updates, they might increase the level. But once you master every item, then you will achieve level 45. So it's not, you don't really miss out on anything by not doing something a certain way. It's pretty straightforward otherwise, leveling your character, which is, it's nice, kind of a relief. Oh god, not another shattered circle. That's finding items are nice, but sometimes you find a lot of the same item. I find so you'll end up with 5 shattered circle rings, which are pretty useless. It's the most useless ring in the game. It's, you know, ice damage is good, but it only does the first level of ice damage, and it doesn't do any other spells. So, you know, whatever. Now we are getting closer. We're getting much closer to the God King. This is, there's going to be a fight coming up in about 2 seconds. You have to fight this guy in the elevator. And all these punks get in your way. It's these strategic places throughout the castle. I guess, you know, they're just doing what's best for their precious father, Papa God King. This is a golem. They come in different variety. This is a silver one. Or maybe it's titanium, I don't know. There's a bronze one as well. What's this one? Okay, this is an iron one. But I think there's titanium. There's different ones, which basically just means it's more difficult. Yeah. Then that's actually, it's kind of, well, I'm gonna show you guys in a couple videos. You'll see after I beat the first bloodline, or I shouldn't say beat it, after I complete it, because even if you win or lose against the God King at the end, you automatically go on to the next bloodline, where you start over again at the very beginning, but you have all of the attributes and items and everything that you had when you finished up the first bloodline, or the previous bloodline. So that's kind of cool. If you lose to them, you're like, alright, you can figure out what strategies to work on, and maybe using a different item for the final battle. That might help you, or it just gives you more time to level up your character and get the experience. Because that's one of the things with the God King, is this, he's a lot quicker too than all these other minions and dudes. And he's harder to predict where to dodge and where to block. And that's the thing too, when you block in this game, blocking doesn't, even if you do manage a successful block, it doesn't mean you're not going to take any damage. A lot of the time, if, oopsies, I pushed the, my bad. If you push the block button, elemental attacks will still go through, so you might not take as much physical damage, but you'll still take damage from, say, fire, if the enemy you're fighting has some sort of fire attack. So that's one thing too to watch out for, is you think you're safe and you can block and prep for your attack, but then you get stabbed in the neck and all of a sudden your character is dead because you didn't have enough time to cast a spell to heal yourself, or you didn't even have magic or whatever. So actually, thinking about it, blocking is kind of, it's I'd say the amateur's way through this game. Correct me if I'm wrong. You know, blocking is great, and you can level up your guy and have shields that give you a lot of blocks. Basically, that's what it is. Shields aren't any better than one another in terms of blocking. It just, you have more block attempts before your shield is broken. So that's to me, yeah, there doesn't really seem to be too much of an advantage by leveling your character in the blocking category and focusing your combat around blocking. I'd say leave that as a very last resort if you can. Work on dodging. Actually, parrying is really good. If you can get good at that, you're gonna be really good at this game. You're gonna make it far. And I say that because this game, you don't ever win. It goes on for an infinite amount of time. But I'm gonna get back into that a little more with the next video. We'll talk about that some more. I'm just gonna buy me a new shield. So check out the next video because it'll have me completing the first bloodline, which is very nice. So I'll catch y'all later. Peace out, dudes.